Okay, now we're going to go ahead and talk about some test taking tips that I really want you guys to utilize. Have seen some questions and a little bit of I guess anxiety from chapter 1 quizzes. Some people say, well, it's been timed and that kind of gives me a problem, and I get stressed out, and well, I totally understand that, and I was once a very nervous test taker as well. But with a lot of training and with a lot of patience and a lot of discipline, I was able to help myself in that area. And I would just like to share some of those tips that I've learned with you guys. You can apply them, of course, to Chapter 1 exam, which you're taking this week. You can apply them to any quiz you take in our class. And most importantly, I'd like for you guys to learn how to apply these tips to future courses throughout the rest of your college career. I think it's really important for you guys to do this. So these are just things that I've kind of put together that have helped me, and talking with other students and other people, they're definitely things that I know have helped others. So I encourage you just to print these things out and try your best to follow them. I know sometimes it's hard to make a change, but if you're really one of those people that always struggles in tests, this can surely help you out. So the first thing, any good test taker, anyone that does well on tests, the key to it all is actually preparing for your test. And I've kind of preached this over and over, and the way I have the course structured is really to help you achieve this, but you have to prepare appropriately. And this includes doing all of your homework and understanding all of the material before you take your exam. Without doing that, no matter what tricks you do, you will not be able to succeed in your test or exams. So it all comes down to preparation, and you have to do your work. So that's really, really key. The next thing is, when you're doing your work, you have to take really good notes and really focus. You guys have the luxury of having videos that you can stop and come back to later and review many times. So I hope that they've been really, really helpful, and that you guys have been taking advantage of that opportunity. By having that, you can take some real detailed notes and really make yourself a good list of rules and examples to follow. So hopefully you've done that as well, and that's really actually preparation for your exam. So I hope you've been taking advantage of that as well. I really don't specify specific areas. The only thing I'm going to say is I'm not out to trick you, and any question you see on the exam is going to be something you have seen in your homework set before. I will not trick you. I will not ask you trick questions, but I do expect you to do the homework, even though it's recommended, and I do expect you to understand it. One of the things is make sure you go to class right before the test. Of course, we don't have a class time, but the distance learning, that means you're going to have a chance to review some of these things and some few tips before you take your exam. So I hope you're taking advantage of this as well. Any examples we've done, I want you to go over those. Make sure you have a nice good meal right before, nothing too heavy or too greasy. Try to stay away from things that will make your mind scatter. Just the things that will help you focus. This is the main thing. You should not ever have to pull an all-nighter. If you have to pull an all-nighter, you probably haven't been preparing enough. So you need to stop trying to pull all-nighters and spend more of that time earlier in the term preparing for your course. So pulling an all-nighter is not very good practice, and it may have done you some good in the past, but in the future it's going to catch up with you, and you're not going to be able to perform very well by doing that. So try to stay away from this. This is a pretty bad practice, and this is one thing I don't like you guys to see. Try to show up at least 5 minutes before the test. So with the distance learning, what you should do is really try to isolate your time, isolate your interruptions. Make sure everything is ready to go. We know this is a timed event, a timed quiz, so make sure you have some sort of alarm next to you. Maybe set it 5 minutes ahead. That way you know when you're running out of time. sometimes when we get into this work, we kind of lose track of the time, but these are timed. And as some of you have noticed, when the time runs out, you can't submit anymore. So it's important that you submit and save your answers frequently so you don't lose them. But most importantly, that you finish your exam on time, because I don't accept late answers. Go to the bathroom. Okay, so since you're doing it at home, if you feel any discomfort and you have to go, of course you don't need a permission. You can just go ahead and go. The test, you just need to be ready. Here's some good tips. The main thing is I want you to relax. I want you to really sit down and relax. Don't rush, okay? Don't rush at all. Do the problems that in this particular test, they're going to all be of equal value, but do the one that you really know first. The test is set up so that you can go back and review the problems that you didn't do, or that you didn't submit an answer to, so you can go back and review those. And I want you to take advantage of that. If you have a specific area that you do really well on, go and do those problems first and make sure you do them well, and redo them. Redo problems, and that's going to be covered in the post-test. When you're done and you have time left over in your exam, don't just submit it. You take advantage of that time and go back and review your problems. Redo them even. Redo the entire problem, the entire test if you're good enough, if you're fast enough, I should say, to finish. With enough time left over, so that way you can double check your work, all of your work, and not make some of the silly mistakes and cost you some scores. Also, I know some of you may have some questions after. This is a pretty straightforward exam, and since many multiple choice, many different types of questions, probably not going to be much debate as to your score. So I want you just to take note of that right away. Now, in particular for math, here's a good set of rules, but the number one thing is you have to be prepared, and the way you prepare is by doing all the homework ahead of time. By now, you should have been spending between 6 and 10 hours a week doing all the homework that is assigned each week. If you've been doing that, I think you're probably pretty confident in yourself, and you should do really well. But I do want you to print these things out, review them in detail, and see what you can improve on and what you've been doing really well, and hopefully that helps you out in your tests and future classes and the rest of your career. Again, take some time out and review this before your exam and do really well, and I wish you luck.